actually wrote the script for this video like a month ago when Victor released the titles for more Season 6 episodes. However, Season 6 just finished, and, well, a lot of what I say in the script is kind of out of date, basically. So I'm just going to have to edit the script while I go along. This is a video about what I think Season 6 will be about. Now, we must take into account that by April of this year, 3 episodes have been written, so production has been slow. However, once me and Lenny, aka Thomas Play 24, my YouTube bestie, posted our ideas for our takes on the season, Victor got more ideas. Edward 2 Fan 47 also wrote 2 episodes for Season 6 that Victor Tanzig agrees on. Now, I won't take into account me and Lenny's versions, as Victor didn't know about them until the summer, so we must take all this into consideration. I shall also put a spoiler warning in case some of these ideas come into my version of Season 6. So, let's begin! Now then, this is my pitch. It's the recovery of 1965. The episode would be similar to Aftermath in a way. Percy and Kay are sad because they were 2 of Thomas's friends, and seeing their friend, quote-unquote, die is depressing. Most notably, Percy is sad because he was Thomas's best friend. The goods industry also slows down without Jeffrey and Peter, so Henry struggles but eventually breaks down. The Fat Controller brings in Murdoch to help, as well as some road vehicles like Onslaught, who had a character arc last season, as well as Birdie the Bus on Thomas's branch line, until Ginty, with a proper name like, say, I'm not gonna say Jimmy because, again, that's my version of Season 6 and Victor couldn't have known, but he could have maybe gotten the name Jimmy from, like, Jimmy the Ginty. Sorry. So, maybe Jamie? I don't know. Dudley might replace Jeffrey and would be built and have a first firing on Sodor, like my version. Why like my version? Well, look at this shot from Sodor Answers. This shot shows Dudley at the works having his first firing. I'm going to assume that this shot is canon to the series, as well as this shot from another Sodor Answers. I believe it's the one with family. Yeah, that one. The replacement for Mickey could be Derek, for example. I did say Albert in the script, but it wasn't my version of Season 6. Why did I say something that happens in my version of Season 6, you ask? Well, Victor's writing is known to be very subtle and sometimes has little Easter eggs in the episode. So maybe Victor used another one of his techniques to make it clever, like how I did. Now, I know this episode sounds kind of boring, but this is a very important tale. With the roads helping the railways, Percy overhears that Topham has arranged that the roads help the railway. But Percy misunderstands and thinks that he is replacing the railways, so he tells the others, and the others have sort of a grudge against the railways, leading to several arguments. After an argument between Sheffield and Onslow that leads to an accident, the Fat Controller puts all of this right. This episode is similar to Thomas and the Rumors. This episode would focus on the Fat Controller and also perhaps retiring, with Charles taking over like in my version. I said earlier my versions wouldn't come until later, but this is the one exception, as this is the only idea I can think of. And all the engines try to make a good final day for the Fat Controller, with a final goodbye ceremony at the end, bringing in Sir Charles Hat as Controller. Now, this one might be one of the 2 stories by Edward 2 Fan 47, as he said the By George incident with Duck and George would play a part in one story. So this must be it. It will focus on George making a return and causing trouble leading to the events of By George, and perhaps even partially calling all engines, who knows. Instead of George repairing the runway on the airport, he destroys the runway of the airfield. I saw someone say that this one should focus on SDC and its limits, and honestly, I agree. And back in March, Train Theory made his SDC theory. That's just the deadly parts of SDC. And Victor said it gave him an idea. So parts of it would be here. Now the deadly bit may come in later. So for now, it just focuses on the engines that have SDC, Edward, Barry, etc. facing struggles. This would also have an Edward's exploit adaptation, showing the success of SDC. For now. Okay, this could mean two things. Either someone dies, or someone copes with the deaths of others. This is probably where my ideas came forward, and some of them implement both. Percy is still devastated over Thomas's death, which leads to the event of my recovery. As well as perhaps maybe when the death of ones like Pickett, but not Sheffield. I'm thinking maybe William, Eric, and they say green is a lucky color, so fuck it, I don't care. This one is self-explanatory. The Arlesdale engines are introduced and their book is adapted, which I think would be the other one written by Edward 2 Fan 47, given he hinted that in the comments on my Season 6 trailer. This one is probably going to adapt faulty whistles on the narrow gauge railway. I won't say a band comes in because if this happens, Victor's just asking for a copyright strike. I'm thinking to have some action in this, so it goes like this. The band plays during a rainstorm, and when they have to go home, Duncan, their engine, crashes into mud, so the headmaster, that is named Jackson after Headmaster Hastings, uses the organ to give an SOS signal. Pretty cool, right? Now, this one is, well, interesting, and is definitely the one I thought the most about. And after doing some research, I assume this episode takes place in 1968, during the protests of the year, and the engine's thoughts on the matter. This is the one where the deadly side of SDC comes into play. The engines with SDC start to feel pain and someone does get killed off. And it's probably gonna be Barry. And then the two Barrys theory from a previous video applies. To recap, basically there are two Barrys given the differences in voice and face. So that must be it. Mr. Hall is devastated that he committed murder, so Edward and all the other half-steam, half-diesel engines get reconverted into steam. Mr. Hall is sent to prison and someone else takes his place. I will mention who is in my version of Season 6's Failure, which this episode is basically Failure, but a little bit, inferior. So far, Season 6 is going to be interesting. I mean, it doesn't sound as exciting as Season 5, and I feel like my version of Season 6 could be is a bit more, well, action-packed and a bit longer, given that Thomas returns. But Season 6 could be a good season, given the fact that me and Lenny's ideas are in it. And Richard is known for his great writing, so I still think the season will be great. But all the plots I made for the leaked titles and the season as a whole are all just theories and nothing more. Victor Tanzig, Theories.